Hello, welcome to this brief tutorial from SkillWise. This tutorial aims to show you a couple of changes we've made to the ePortfolio as used by the Rugby Football Union. The reason the changes have been made are that the qualification has changed. Where it used to be a one-part qualification, it is of course now two parts, and we wanted to make changes to the ePortfolio so that an assessor can still take one piece of evidence, an observation or whatever it may be, and automatically map it, not just against one, but against both parts of the qualification. Again, to make the assessor's life as easier as possible. That's why we've done it. Let's have a look at what it looks like. Firstly, this remains absolutely unchanged. The documents or the resources that an assessor would use to help them gain the evidence are still within assessment tools and file library. Here we can see those things. Skills assessment form, session planner, learner review, post-match analysis. Those are there, they're available for the assessor to use. The assessor can download those, can print them off, can email them to the learner, can use the ePortfolio to send them to the learner by way of an assessment plan. All of those options still available, and those forms remain there as they were previously. Let's remind ourselves how we used to log evidence for a learner. So if I'm an assessor and I would like to log evidence for a particular learner, I would go to my learners, I'd select log evidence, and then I would complete the evidence form effectively. I'd identify what kind of evidence it was, in this case a work product. I would give it a description. Let's scroll down. I would add the evidence itself, and then I would map that evidence against the qualification framework. And we had a couple of shortcuts, so we can see in this example that the assessor had allocated an assessment plan to the learner called Session Planner and one called Nutritional Diet Diary. And in this case, if we click on Session Planner, the framework opens to show the assessor all of the criteria that plan, the Session Planner, was designed to hit. That was not a bad system. It could be a little laborious because sometimes there are an awful lot of things to tick and it could take the assessor quite a while. Let's look at the new system. We're looking at the live system right now, and let's go through that same process. So I've gone to my learners, gone to log evidence. Let's log a piece of evidence which is a work product. Here's the description of the evidence. I can see I've actually attached the session planner. There is the evidence itself. And here is where we map that evidence against the qualification. Firstly, the assessor has absolute freedom, as they used to have, to log ad hoc evidence against anything within the framework. So for instance, if I just had a piece of evidence that I felt satisfied parts of the qualification, I could simply open up the qualification and tick what I felt it satisfied. So the assessor still has absolute freedom to do ad hoc assessment and map whatever it is they've observed, for instance, against any part of the qualification. What's new is this area here called Evidence Records Framework. You can see also, by the way, the new qualifications, the BTEC Certificate in Achieving and the BTEC Certificate in Understanding. The Evidence Records Framework is something which is unique to the RFU, and what we've done here is we've matched a series of headings within this to match against the resources that have been provided for the assessor to use to gather the evidence. So for example, I can see that within evidence records we've got some evidence types that are more to do with achieving and some that are more to do with understanding. With the understanding, I can see I've got things that are to do with finance, safety, emergencies, technical stuff, nutrition. And with achieving, I've got things like risk assessments, health and safety certificate, player skills and assessment, and the one that we're dealing with now, which of course is the session planner. These titles, of course, are the same as the titles of the resources that we saw in the file library. So if I'd used a resource called Session Planner to help gather some evidence, I would now click on Session Planner, and then this double tick icon. This double tick icon, if I click on that, it opens a new window and it shows me every criteria that assessment plan was designed to address. If I just scroll down here, you can see that this is a very, very large number of assessment criteria which in fact cross over both parts of the qualification. Some in the understanding and some in the achieving. Where the system's improved from the last version is now we have this select all button, and by clicking that, the system automatically ticks every single one of those criteria which that assessment plan was designed to address. Of course, the assessor still has the ultimate say, and if the assessor feels the learner didn't quite get something right, they can always untick one or two of these. But other than that, at a single click, we've identified here, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 criteria in one hit, and when we're happy with that, we simply hit save, and we're done. Save and submit for verification. That goes off for verification, and that piece of evidence has been successfully logged.